Should you buy the DJI Mini 3 Pro, or is it all hype? In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things you're going to absolutely hate about the DJI Mini 3 Pro. And yes, it's freaking freezing here in Australia. Now, hate is a really harsh word, and I've done another video on this, on 5 things that I really love about this drone, so make sure you check out that video as well. Number 1 is flying this drone in high wind. Now, don't get me wrong, it is good in wind. But this drone is so bloody small, I just do not want to send this up in a windy situation because I've struggled to get the drone back. When you are flying against a really windy situation, it's slow and it's really scary when it's beeping at you to land because it's over the water and it's windy. You know, it just means if you get to a location and it's too windy, you can't launch this drone. And if you're a professional like me, you're gonna have to have another bigger drone that can be flown in the wind. But if you don't live in a windy location, this is not gonna be a problem. But if you're trying to launch this off cliff faces and into the wind, it does do a really good job in some wind. But when it gets really hectic, you cannot launch this thing. Number 2 is it has no side obstacle avoidance sensors. Now, if you are a beginner, this is a bit of a worry. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're flying around and you got no side obstacle avoidance sensors, you're most likely gonna crash. It does have forward, backward, and downward sensors, so that's a good thing, mate. But you don't have those side sensors, and that's generally when you're gonna crash, is when you're tracking left or tracking right. That's when you're gonna go into a tree. Now, the Mini 3 Pro actually has more sensors on it than the Mini 3. So if you had to pick out of the two, go with the Mini 3 Pro, especially if you're a beginner. Now, number 3, and this isn't such a big deal, but it kind of irks me, and that is the fixed aperture. Now, the benefits of having an aperture that you can pick from, say from f2.8 to f11, is that if the sun pops out behind a cloud, you don't have to adjust your shutter speed. You can use your aperture to compensate for it getting lighter or darker. Whereas when you have a fixed aperture, you're kind of locked in there. You have to pick the right ND to put on the front of your drone. Otherwise, you're gonna be cranking up your shutter speed, and that's not a good thing because we need to keep our shutter speed twice our frame rate for that cinematic look. So that's the bummer about having a fixed aperture. It's not a deal breaker though. I mean, you just have to be very conscious of your surroundings. Is the sun gonna be coming in and out of a cloud? And you need to pick the right ND filter. Now, number 4 is the price. Now, I've seen some people complaining that this is too high a price for this drone. Now, I would tend to agree. If you are a beginner filmmaker, and this is aimed for beginner entry-level filmmakers, even though it is a pro version, it is a little on the pricey side. However, for what you get in this small drone package, I think is unbelievable. But I can understand where some people might find it very expensive for a drone that is lacking a lot of those features. Now, the last thing is, there is no last thing. Because secretly, I absolutely love this drone. And that's the truth. I do absolutely love this drone, and I've been using it a ton. I've flown the shit out of this thing, and I absolutely love it. It does handle windy conditions, just not cyclonic conditions. It produces such a beautiful image. It just holds up in sunrise and sunset. And the best thing about this drone is it's actually 10-bit, so you can grade the hell out of this thing and it'll just work for you and look amazing. So the last point is, yeah, I love this drone. These points are just nitpicky. I can't find anything wrong with it. I really like it. I'm sorry. And that's it. Hooroo. We'll see you in the next video.